Montana, and he wanted everyone to experience Montana. And I would say about 90% of you would never have come to Montana had it not been for Mark Payton. And the other of you are spouses, and you know that already. But so he just wanted you to enjoy it, and this is the idea to come out here. And if you want to commune with him, you come out to the missions, you come to the Bob, and you'll see him, and that's what he would want you to do. And he was obsessed with Montana, and now he's trying to get all of you obsessed as well. So I invite everybody to come and speak and say anything they want, and love you guys.
My brother was the Jeremiah Johnson of the modern times. That kind of sums it up for me. And he loved the nature, he loved all this, and so we're glad that he came our way.
Very well said. True mountain man.
Yep. True mountain man.
Well, I know he took me on a ton of adventures, and I'm gonna miss him a lot. We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, and even though he could be a real hard ass, he was
He was a good guy.
pretty good guy.
A good guy.
Trying to miss him. And I'm glad everybody could come, and everybody from Dallas and be here. And
thanks for everybody who traveled a long ways.
We're so glad to be here.
I'm very glad everybody could
nobody
come.
got hurt yet. That's good.
Not yet.
But,
We still got to go back.
you know, we've been out here on horseback and packed these rafts in the easy way. Of course, it wasn't that heavy, but yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Easy. This is a great pick for Brian so all of us could actually get up here. So
And that was the idea, to make it easily accessible for every family member or anyone who want to come up. You didn't need a horse and a trail and a mule train to get up here, you know.
Mark would have brought horses.
And so would I have brought
And a
horses.
mule train.
And an electric chainsaw.
you all know that he liked to make things way more complicated than it need to be, and he would pack everything but the kitchen sink to go on a day ride, so which required a lot of work, and we'd have a good time, but it was always a lot of cleanup and pack up after that. So, but yeah, so
You know, I met Mark in '86. My dad was living in Hamilton, and I had a lot of family in Montana. I got my grandfather, grandmother buried in Polson. And two of my uncles are buried in Polson, and one's buried in Knoxon. And you know, so I loved Montana before I met Mark, but when we met, it was like kind of like two peas in a pod. Not necessarily personality-wise, but we both loved the same things, you know. And it was kind of refreshing for him because, you know, I kind of knew horses, not as good as he did, but also, you know, I'd done tons of backpacking. I'd been into all these lakes and stuff before I ever met Mark. And, you know, so we just really hit it off, you know, and for 26 years, you know, it's the highlight of my year, coming over here and spending time with him.
wow.
He was a
Thank
good
you
guy.
for coming, Dave. We're so grateful
Yeah.
that you came. Awesome. Thank you.
Loved him.
Mm-hmm.
So many memories that you can't. That's what gets me. These memories will come. You'll think about stuff, and he's the only one I can share that with because he's the only one that saw it, right? And you just can't explain some of it.
No.
Yeah, they're all unique experiences that most people will never have in their life.
Well, you know, we started coming up here when I was a little girl, and we'd come over each summer and spend time with Arwen and Brian and Mark, and those are always some of my best memories. But I think my best memory happened recently. Back in February of 2019, I found a new sister that I didn't know I had. Fast forward to January the following year, I get another message from a girl saying she's looking for her dad. And I said, good God, like another sister? Like, this is insane. Like, seriously, it's like 1 year to like the day.
There's probably more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. So anyway, so Delisha had reached out to me on Ancestry, and so I started trying to figure out who her dad was. I saw that she had relation to Brian, so I knew it had to be a Peyton boy. And And so through the process of elimination, it was Uncle Mark. And so I called Mark. I said, okay, Dee Dee, your dad is my Uncle Mark in Montana. You know, but let me call him and talk to him. So I got him on the phone and I said, Uncle Mark, you know, and he'd already met Melissa, my new sister. You know, he loved her. We came up to Montana as soon as we could in October for him to meet her. So I said, you know, you have a daughter also. And there was silence. And then he said, I'm gonna have to call you back. So he hung up and I was like, oh God, like I can't call Dee Dee right now with this story that he's just like, I gotta call you back.
He was probably selling something.
I really know. He was just like,
No, I was sitting
and
right
then
there.
Gina, you pick up from right there.
I was sitting right there, and he just said, and I heard him talking to you, and he said, I'll call you right back, and he clicks the phone down, and he didn't say anything, which for Mark was extremely unusual. And then he turned around and looked at me and said, well, Olivia just called and said that I have a daughter. And so we had a 5-minute conversation, and then he called you back.
So he called me back later. I was at a restaurant, so I stepped outside to talk to him, and I told him, you know, the story, and I think he was still kind of, you know, unsure. But the minute I told him Dee Dee's mother's name, he said, oh my God, that's my daughter. She's my daughter. He said, I spent a week in a motel with that woman.
There's Dee Dee over there. Hi,
And I know her mother well. So that was in January. I think by February we were on a plane to Missoula, and Dee Dee got to meet Mark for the first time, and I was just so happy to be there for that special moment. And
Thank you.
I am gonna miss him.
I also think one thing that's really funny is, as much of a hard ass as he was also a man that spent $10,000 to save my Chihuahua's life when she got hit by a car, which is, you know, that's part of why I'm here today too.
He would have
is it's
shot
like-
it, you know, probably killed.
Yeah, I mean, like as many animals as this man killed, he literally, we're not going to go into those details, but, you know, he saved a Chihuahua's life because his grandkid, you know, was not thrilled about the situation. So,
It was horrible, and
Yeah.
I remember that.
yeah.
It was very, very cool.
Well, one more thing to my story. After that, I get a call from my dad, from Tinker, telling my dad, tell Olivia to cut this shit out. There needs to be no more surprise kids coming up through the DNA website.
Yeah, he was worried that he was next.
He was worried he was next.
Take a shot now, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
What kind of trail out of Texas?
Open it
maybe?
for you.